G'day and welcome to Wellywood Wargaming. My name is Damon and this is my first Australian Blood Bowl tournament. I first fell in love with Blood Bowl back in the 90s or late 80s perhaps when I was in primary school, a very long time ago now, when I saw this issue of White Dwarf magazine and absolutely fell head over heels in love with Jez Goodwin's metal 2nd edition Skaven team, seen here in red and yellow. Beautiful. Anyway, fast forward to now, this is my first Australian Blood Bowl tournament ever, now that I'm living in Sydney, so I thought I'd attend the major. Eucalyptus Bowl is the major tournament for Australia. Of course, there are other tournaments here as well, the Big V, which is down in Melbourne, which is also massive. But I've wanted to attend this for quite a while, having a look across the ditch when I was in New Zealand, but I just never had the opportunity to come over. Anyway, I haven't really played tabletop for a very long time. I used to play tournaments and stuff in New Zealand, and I thought I'd do a little sort of highlight of how things go, particularly for those newer players to Blood Bowl or people that have never played at a sort of competitive level, just to sort of like show you how it is and just how lovely people can be and how the community is really nurturing and kind and lovely. And what I've done here is sort of got some footage just on my phone, so I do apologize about the audio and video quality here. I've got some footage of the whole event, how it went for me, how I found it, and I've done even little post-match reports as well in here, which I think you'll enjoy. I just thought it'd be a really good thing to sort of highlight for those newer players out there. Don't be scared about getting out there and doing a tournament, because it really is super, super fun, and I do believe the best way of playing Blood Bowl. So let's get into it. So as this is my first tabletop tournament of the 2020 rule set, I decided to go with something very underpowered and not very competitive, and that was, of course, Snotlings. A tier 3 team. However, I did take Morg and Hackflem, so you could argue that that's pretty nasty and probably not going to earn me too many friends. My goal here, though, is not to be too competitive. If I win any of these 6 games, I'll be very, very happy indeed, because a lot of the players here are going to be very, very high caliber. If I can go with a tier 3 team and get draws and wins in any way, then I'll be super stoked. But really, my goal here is just to make friends, network, and just have a really good time. Let's go and see if this happens for me. But first, let's just take a look at the roster. I've got Snotlings, as I said, a tier 3 team. Not very good on paper, but this is the roster that I've chosen. No pump wagons. We've got 2 trolls with no skills. We've got Morg, we've got Hackflem, we've got an absolute ton of Snotlings, 2 of each positional, so 2 bombers, 2 stilty runners, 2 fun hoppers. Riotous rookies gives me extra possible 7 Snotlings, and also 1 bribe and only 1 reroll. So you might look at that roster and think that's pretty scary, but we'll see how we go with only 1 reroll. Of course, my sort of thought process behind having only 1 reroll was the fact that I'm relying on stars to do all the work. Let's see if I can actually rely on these stars to do any of that work.
Right then, it's 6:30 in the morning on a Saturday. Everyone's asleep. Most important thing to do before a Blood Bowl tournament is coffee.
So first things first, we went to sunny Burwood in the inner west of Sydney, where the RSL, which was hosting the event, was. But second coffee is needed here with my friend Cody, who's, by the way, it's his first tournament here as well, and he's taking gnomes. What a madman. Anyway, you can see everyone gathering here outside Burwood RSL. The mighty Pav on display here. We'll go into that in a little bit more detail later, but 71 coaches turned up for this event. Of course, there were some dropouts, late dropouts and whatnot, but 71 coaches is pretty damn good, and some people got to play a couple games just as sort of stand-ins and whatnot, but 71 coaches turned up and everything went pretty swimmingly. Registration was great. James was in an awesome mood in the morning, you can see, because he's not too tired just yet. But the Eucalyptus Bowl official trophy there, as well as all of the other prizes and glittering pieces of awesomeness that you can win, from the Stunty Cup to most fouls, most casualties, all sorts. I'm, of course, aiming for Stunty King here. So the 71 coaches waited for the draw. The first draw is random. This is a Swiss system, and game 1 was underway with Underworld.
Well, that was the first game of Tournament Blood Bowl I've played in quite a while, the first one in Australia here. First game is Underworld. and both of us had Morg. So Snotlings and Underworld with Morg. There's a Highlander rule in this tournament, meaning that neither of us got to bring Morg, so my whole game plan went out the window. I lost in the end 1-0 with 9-3 Kaz to the Underworld. A lot of bad dice, I have to be honest, but I did play pretty well, managing the 1-0 is not too bad a defeat against the tier 1 team. Props to my opponent. Neither of us really had many rerolls and stuff, and lots of shenanigans were had. My backup plan of Hack Flem got taken out and fouled off the pitch, so that was, it was always downhill from there. First Snotling Bomber blew himself up, second one got killed in the second half. So yeah, not great, but lots and lots of fouls. I think I've got 7 or 8 fouls in the end, so I'm achieving my goals of fouls so far. Let's go and see who we're playing in the next game.
And that's turn 1. Good luck.
All right, just had lunch, a banh mi with Sandune over from New Zealand. So shout out to Sandune there. Second game went much better against Black Orcs. Snotlings against Black Orcs with Ripper. All block on all of the Black Orcs actually. And Morg did his thing, and Hagflim did his thing, and I did loads of elf shit with Snotlings, and it turned out into a 3-0 win, resounding win. Didn't do as much fouling as I did in the previous game, only 3 fouls, which is not enough for me. But yeah, a 3-0 win there, so we're going to go into game 3 and see what's up with the third round. But 1 loss, 1 win so far out of 6 games, and we'll see what the rest of the day looks like.
Cool pitch, actually. Hello.
Yeah, I know he's one of mine. No, sorry. I didn't know he was sitting there.
All right, I'm standing outside because it was so hot in there today, and I am, my head is turned to mush. Really good, really good first day in Eucalyptus Bowl 2024. Thank you to James Russell Wills for hosting it so far. Fantastic day, lots of cool people that I met, lots of friends that I've made. But just to recap, first game I went down 1-0, loss against Underworld. Second game I won 3-0 against Black Orcs, which was excellent. Shutout in that one, so 3-1 to myself on touchdowns. And then in the last game I won 2-0 against Pro Elves against the run of play with a blitz that didn't go my way, pouring rain, and a timeout that didn't go my way either, somehow managing to score on turn 8 with Hack Flem and on turn 16 with Morg in the pouring rain. Should I say. Fantastic, so I feel very good about that. So 6 touchdowns to 1 over 3 games, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. So upper mid tables tomorrow. Should be playing against some pretty tough opposition, but not bad for Snotlings, I've got to say. Morg hasn't been that good, apart from the touchdown, and Hackflim hasn't been that good either, so maybe they will shine in the next couple of games, and I might get even more of an amazing result for Snotlings. So yeah, really stoked so far, and onwards and upwards for rhubarb and custard. Stay tuned.
Good luck, mate.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, your paint job's very good.
It's called rhubarb and custard, this team. You can guess who's rhubarb and who's...
He's up 1-0. This is turn 8 play. This win.
How's it going? So an incredibly dramatic draw in that one. Do you want to just run through what happened in that game, who we were playing?
Okay. So my Vamps against your Snotlings with Morg and Hackflem.
Yeah.
And first half for me with the ball, which I would never do actually. I would always kick.
Yeah, that's why I kicked it.
And broke down dramatically. First 5 hypno gazers failed.
Yeah.
And then Morg did his thing, blitzers gone, players are flying off the pitch. End of up. Long story short, you turned me over, 1-0 to you at the break, sweltering heat. And I think I had 2 throwers and 7 thralls left against Morg and Hackflim and co. And Morg did the honourable thing and double sculled.
Yeah, double sculled on turn 1.
Turn 1, block 1 of turn second half. And then I proceeded to foul him out.
Casually.
recovered the ball.
Yeah.
Hackflem double-wonned it on a dodge, knocked himself out. And then it was a slow procession with one thrower and about 7 thralls against Snotlings. And probably the most tensest game, coming down to a go for it into the end zone with a re-roll, first roller one. made the second roll.
Last re-roll as well.
Mate, it was very, very tense game, but very fun. Snotlings are fun, Vamps are fun.
My favourite game of the tournament, so thank you very much for that. And,
thank you, mate.
Yeah, looking forward to playing you. And shout out to SWL.
Yes.
And
yes, Sydney Blood Bowl, Sydney Blood Bowl League. You can find us on Facebook. We've got 42 guys. End of season 4. Season 5 starts in about late October. More people in it, the better. No cap on numbers. We're growing every year.
Awesome stuff.
All right.
Thanks, mate.
And you should join.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are the guys with strength. Have you got it? Let me just. Yes. Sweet.
Game 5, unfortunately, it was a loss. 2-1 to High Elves with, I think, 3-3 on Kaz. I kicked with Snotlings, and we had very sunny as well, by the way. I kicked with Snotlings, and I just knew as soon as I set up for this game that the High Elves were going to get one up on me. I'd already beaten Elves, Pro Elves, pretty well with a 2-0 win against the Pro Elves on day 1. So I just kind of knew that Elves would get their comeuppance on me today. So that was a 2-1 win to High Elves, and I just couldn't do much. I kicked in the first half. They scored on turn 2 with a stretch play that I couldn't do anything about because Snotlings. And Morg, quite frankly, just didn't hurt people enough. I scored beginning of second half, and then they scored another one with... Hackflem did some dodgy stuff, but eventually snake-eyed and failed to pick up a ball as well. It was a loss, but it was fairly concise loss, I suppose, from the High Elves. So going into this, we got 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw, which is still pretty good. So everything to play for. If I can get a win, I'll be stoked. Might even be up there in the Stunty Cup sort of realm. So we'll see what we got in game 6. But I'm exhausted, so yeah, another coffee here.
There you go. Looking good. Good luck.
I'm exhausted. So that was game 6 wrapped up. Ended up in a loss, a 3-2 loss to Humans with a throw teammate in the last turn to seal it for the Humans, 3-2. I got absolutely steamrolled in the first half. Morg got off casualty. Just everything went badly. I had hardly any players on the pitch. Nearly got pitch cleared in the first half. Nothing went my way. I went into a dark hole, and I was kind of a little bit embarrassed, honestly, to be that salty in the last game of the tournament. So I'm going to reflect on this and come back and do a summary. But props to my opponent for being an absolutely excellent sport as well. I think what did it is I jinxed it by saying that Melbourne was a shit city. He's from Melbourne, so he absolutely trounced me in the first half. But yeah, I did some Yankee stuff to score 2. Nearly scored to get a draw, I think, or even a win in the end there. And again, Hackflem did his, I think, 3rd or 4th snake eyes to score this tournament. So again, I'm going to come back and do a little bit of a sort of afterthought on the entire tournament, what I might do differently next time, and talk about just how it went as my first tournament here in Australia.
Hey, good day everyone. Just want to say thank you to James for running a really successful Eucalyptus Bowl. It gets bigger every year and is going really, really well. I had a great day. Price tag was looking really good. I played 3 games over the weekend. I was doing the store and with my little assistant here, and I won all 3 games somehow. So it's a very different experience for me. But I always enjoy coming in and playing the tournaments, because if I'm not doing that, then I'm not really doing what I love. And part of that is the printing. So if you have any Jester prints up on Etsy or on the Facebook, you would have seen me, hopefully. Give me a shout out and I'll help you out.
Awesome quality, by the way.
Appreciate it.
So yeah, thanks for that.
Awesome, thank you so much.
So you would have noticed this Pavo Trophy. So earlier this year we come up with this idea of some sort of a series between Australia and New Zealand. So at first it was potentially a tournament, but obviously the tyranny of distance and the travel between the 2 countries is going to be a little bit problematic So we came up with this idea of a series where travelling Aussies or travelling Kiwi coaches, when they pair up, their records will be tallied for the year, and the winner for that year will take the trophy. We were thinking long and hard in terms of naming, and we come up with the PAV. Because what's more divisive than the ownership and the background of the PAV logo? True. So look, there was a lot of effort going into the background of the PAV. The first games date back to 2003. There's almost 500 games in total between Australians and New Zealanders. There's been 15 series contended, noting that during the COVID years there was no games. And the series at the moment is tied 7-1-7. Although that draw, Australia retains the trophy. So technically, we're leading 8-7. However, last year, the Kiwis beat us. They beat us 15-12-12. So, as the defending champions, it is our responsibility to hand over the PAV to our Kiwi raider, Sanju. Also, Noam will do the ceremonious handover, given that he's the most travelled of the Aussies.
Right, here it goes.
Well played. How did it hold his problem? Now let it slide off. It's a quick one, I might have over, isn't it?
I'd like to welcome my son. I'd like to welcome Cullen to come up here. So he finished with Orcs with 5 wins and 1 loss. His 1 loss coming to Sanju, so not a bad effort at all.
All right then, James, this is the aftermath, second day, 6-game event. You look pretty worn out. We're all worn out. You look probably even more worn out. But yeah, just give us, first of all, massive thank you for running the tournament. My first tournament in Australia. Thanks for answering all my questions on Facebook and stuff, because I know I pissed you off with the amount of questions I probably asked you, but I really, really enjoyed it. And I'll definitely be back again next year, I'm sure, should I be in Sydney. Hopefully I will be. Do you want to say some words about how the tournament went, what you might change next time, what worked, what didn't, what you liked about it, what you didn't, things like that? And obviously I think we've got a 20th anniversary soon as well?
Yeah, 20th anniversary next year. So next year will be the big, the 20th for Eucalyptus Bowl. It is the 5th NAF major, so I'm hoping that pushes some of our overseas guests to come out here, because I don't think anyone's done the 5 majors. There might have been someone that did a CanCon that counted, but other than that, yeah, I'd really love to see some of those big international raiders come out and give us a go. But yeah, look, the tournament ran quite well, I think. It's sometimes hard to tell from the other side of the table. Obviously, I'm proud as punch that my young fella walked away with the title.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So he's got a very conservative game like his old man, and it works in the right situations. So pounded his way to victory with the Orcs. Very proud. Look, this tournament's my baby. It was my first Blood Bowl tournament and really got me into tournament Blood Bowl 19 years ago. I'm reluctantly running it, but I'd rather play it. But
why
look,
reluctantly?
Only in the sense that I don't rate my my organisational skills. I'd love to do a slightly more professional sheen to it, but look, I think it runs well. Everyone looked happy today. I
didn't look too happy.
Look, I didn't have too many issues that I could see. I've got encouragement that people will be back. Hopefully we can give Big V a bit of a run for their money. At least try and push 3 figures next year.
Yeah.
That'll be my hope. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for that, mate.
No worries.
I'll catch you next year.
Cheers, buddy.
All right, so it's been a couple of days post-tournament for me to reflect on how things went. So overall, my general vibe of Eucalyptus Bowl 2024 was that I had an absolutely awesome time, and I absolutely don't regret my choice of taking Snotlings. But there is some sort of stuff that I want to look back at, and it's really interesting when I go and look back at all the post-match sort of like spiel that I did, because you can see my happiness and my sadness sort of waning through the event, and just how invested you get in those games and the actual stories that happen on the pitch. So the beautiful game of Blood Bowl is definitely back in my heart, and I'm going to be attending lots more tournaments from now on. Will I take it super seriously and go real hard on the sort of competitive nature of it? I'm not sure. I did really enjoy playing Snotlings, but you know, there were times when I sort of got let down by that choice. And I think the overall feedback for myself is that stars, although are very good, sure, Morgan Hackflem are great on paper, they will always let you down in several games. So that was my sort of overarching sort of like take from the entire thing. 6 games that I played, and I reckon 3 or 4 of those games, if I didn't have stars and did in fact have just re-rolls instead, I probably would have done a lot better, even though those 2 stars were in fact mega stars and can impact a game so massively. When they fail, they really fail, and you just can't rely on them at all. So that's my take from it. And I think I'm going to learn my lesson a little bit there, in that taking stars in Blood Bowl, I feel like the tournament in general, 71 people there, I feel like the tournament in general, there were still lots of stars there despite the 50k tax on each of those stars. But I don't think, and I'd like to see the results, I don't think any of the teams that really did well actually had stars on their rosters. So that's another thing to sort of realise as well. So the next tournament I do, not going to take stars, but I still will design rosters for maximum funnage, because I just think that's the way to do it. Anyway, if you're thinking about attending a tournament, or you've never been to a NAF ranked tournament or anything similar for Blood Bowl, I purely do believe that it is the best and most awesomest way of playing Blood Bowl. Of course, you can play on Fumble, you can play online on Blood Bowl 2 and 3, but tabletop is really where it's at for me. It's just so much more engaging, and it's great to just meet people with a similar passion, a similar interest to you. So if this has been interesting to you, please let me know in the comments down below. I'd really like to know your sort of take on my roster and how I did in the tournament. I overall think I did pretty well, considering, certainly on the first day. But the main thing is that I had a super amount of fun, and I will be back with some more tournament reports for Wellywood Wargaming. And that's it for me. Peace out.